Hey everyone, so I am doing this intro from the comfort of my home. It is very chilly outside. Today I'm taking a drive to Asheville. We've been, as you've seen in our past videos, we've been to the mountains in western North Carolina, East Tennessee. We've been to Relief, Elk Park, Burnsville, Pensacola. Uh, Seeing that destruction, which literally the word biblical is not an exaggeration. It is just seeing how complete houses swept away, um, entire sections of river just stripped, widened, land wiped away, huge piles of debris for miles down rivers. It's just shocking. It was shocking to us. We've got a few things planned coming up. We did do a search with a team for one of the missing folks that we're waiting to post because searches are still going on, and we promised them we wouldn't post until that comes to resolution. So we've got that video coming up of the search. We're continuing to help them. I'm bringing in some folks that I know, hopefully soon, to help with one of the water search areas. That's in about a week or so. Hopefully, if everything works out, we're going to help that team in that way. I'm also planning to get into the Nolichucky River in one of the more remote areas that I think people haven't gone into, because it's a section of the gorge that people coming from the Relief end of the gorge went through that section of the Nolichucky. It's very hard to get to other than the railroads, which is having work done from both sides, so we haven't been able to get in from the sides. I'm going to do, hoping after the Thanksgiving, I'm going to do some hiking. I'm going to do some grueling hiking and get in there and do some searching. So today I wanted to get down to Asheville. I have not been to Asheville. I haven't seen the area. We've been staying out, obviously, for the month or so following the disaster. We did not want to get in the way of the emergency crews and everyone going in to help. We're hearing that there's recovery from the news stories. That county, Buncombe County, was the hardest hit. And so I just wanted to kind of compare the damage a month after the destruction with what we've seen in the mountains. I'm just interested to see how the recovery work is going there. Talk to any folks that we come across down in that county. I know that the River Arts District was the hardest hit, was flooded. So I'm going to work through town. I want to see what town looks like, how people are doing, and find some of the recovery centers, and just see what it looks like. Again, the biggest thing for me is we're seeing how far along the mountain communities are, how much they desperately need help. There's still so much reconstruction work going on, and I'm kind of curious to see with a more populated area if it's harder, if they need even more. I'm hearing people from that county saying that that we should check it out, that it's actually, pretty bad over there. So we're gonna go take a look today, and we'll see what we see. And then again, those other videos will be out shortly. We're gonna have the search video when we can publish it, and a hike in, which I should have done by then. So yeah, we're gonna go for a long ride today. We're gonna drive around that area, explore some of the places, talk to some folks if we can, and see what we see. So let's get going.
You want to leave this place where we grew up, this old town, just put it all behind. Remember you and I would always find somewhere to hide when we were kids, so we could see and hear the water run. The river's gonna cry when you're gone. river's gonna cry when you're gone, 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 gone. The river's gonna cry when you're gone, 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 gone. The river's gonna cry when you're gone, 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 gone. The river's gonna cry when you're. The river's gonna cry when you're. The river's gonna cry when you're gone. Hoping you would stay, but I've always known that you would go and find your own way. I still see when we climbed up in those trees, 12 years old, to feel the wind and watch the river run. And the sun would always shine when we sat there, you and I. The river's gonna cry when you're gone, 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 gone. The river's gonna cry when you're gone, 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 gone. The river's gonna cry when you're gone, 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 gone. The river's gonna cry when you're. The river's gonna cry when you're. The river's gonna cry when you're gone. It's gonna cry, it's gonna cry. You want to leave this place where we grew up, this old town, just leave it all behind. The river's gonna cry when you're gone. Sitting in silence like 4 feet apart, and there's so many things that I wish I could say, but I don't. No, I just don't. Rewind the tape and just play me those memories. You're leaning into me and I'm holding on to your shoulder. Where did that go? Oh, I hope we don't give in. It would never be the same. It's like you're gone when you're still here. Will I lose? Oh, I don't wanna lose you. Oh, I don't wanna lose you. This old apartment, I swear it feels small. Like there's nowhere to breathe. We don't look at each other, we don't. So I just go. And we should be talking, not hiding the problem. Open a bottle and don't go to bed till the sun goes up. Till the sun goes up. Oh, I hope we don't give in. It would never be the same. It's like you're gone when you're still here. Will I lose? Oh, I hope you don't give in. I just want you here with me. Is there something I can say? Will I lose? Oh, I don't wanna lose you. I just don't wanna lose you. Oh, I wonder now, just where did we go wrong? 'Cause you know that I'm not ready to let go. If I lose you now, then what's the point? Oh, I don't wanna lose you. I just don't wanna lose you. Don't wanna lose you. Don't wanna lose you.
Which area are you working out of?
Fairview Ingalls.
Okay, that's not far at all.
No, it's not.
I was up in Burnsville, Relief,
Yep.
and I was coming down here thinking it was going to be as bad, at least downtown.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe how it's like night and day. If you go downtown, you would think nothing ever happened.
Yeah, but then you go to Biltmore Village and
I haven't been there yet. This looks like the riverside up in the mountains too.
yeah, Biltmore Village is destroyed.
Is the main house itself severely?
The house is fantastic, yeah. The grounds took a pretty big hit, but the house held.
Do you think they're going to recover pretty well?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
The house is fine. The grounds will recover. You know, it's all stone, that house.
That's true.
Yeah, it did fine.
How are the local communities doing now, a month and a half after?
Oh, they're struggling.
They're still struggling?
Oh, yeah.
Just rebuilding though, not like food, water, all that kind of
No, all
basic
that's
stuff.
still struggling.
Really? I was up in Camp Miller, Jeff Gallimore I think I was talking to. He said up there they have basic supplies. It's all the rebuilding that they need. Rebuilding materials, things like that.
Depends on where they are and what resources they had to start.
So other communities are still worse off, huh?
Yeah, they are. Yeah, they're still struggling.
Well, God bless you for what you do.
Thank you. Thank you.
So yeah, River Arts District, definitely a disaster area. It is surprising when you go through downtown Asheville. The cleanup recovery is impressive. It looks like you would think nothing happened here in this town. Till you drive down to the river, and like most places in the mountains, once you get down to the river, you've got destruction like this. You can see debris everywhere, appliances all here in the park. Gazebo's destroyed. Bathrooms are still standing, but as you walk down this river, and you can see as I was driving down this river, all along the river is definitely just as bad as the mountains, as the mountain communities. I was talking to the relief worker from the Red Cross, and while Jeff mentioned Pensacola community he was at with 1,500 residents, as far as basic supplies they're not so worse off, but she mentioned some of the communities here still need supplies on the suburbs, the outskirts of Asheville. I think as you get further away from town, I went to some of the suburbs and the cleanup there looked pretty well done too, pretty close to being complete. Power was there. There was some power lines being put up, some work being done, but not everywhere. So there's still recovery work. It still doesn't, I'll be honest with you, other than along the obviously the Arts District, pretty bad off, but they've got businesses going. They're serving people. Like I saw a coffee shop open on the other side of the river. They've cleaned up really well on that side. This side where the park is just, as you can see, it's still a lot of cleanup work. I think probably it's lower on the priority list just because you're not talking residents and homes, too many anyway. People are still using this park. Paths are still here, still along the river. I see people running and walking, you know, they're still using it. My sense is that the cleanup and recovery is going a lot quicker around here, just from what I've seen, just from how quick the riverside here has been cleaned up. And then contrast that with the mountain communities, the isolated mountain communities, lower population. It still looks, I mean, your houses still washed away, piles, bigger piles of debris, many more. There in the mountains looks like this. The way they left this park, that's what the mountain communities look like, where people are trying to survive. So it feels like I could be reading into things, and I could be wrong, but there seems to be, looks like a disparity. Maybe resources had to be applied faster to more populated communities like this, and eventually more will get to the mountain communities. Yeah, so I honestly don't know what to think of this trip. The obviously there are areas of Asheville that are still in really bad shape. The River Arts District obviously is still massive need of cleanup. I drove some of the suburbs outside of Asheville, closer to town. I mean, it's pretty well cleaned up. The communities are still. I saw one or two places with electric companies still doing work, but for the most part, really well cleaned up. Those neighborhoods look really good. Downtown was a little surreal for me. I seeing people shopping at department stores, just kind of touring town like normal, like they normally do in Asheville. Walking down the streets, going to stores, going to restaurants. It was very surreal. I was when I first got into that area. I was like, I thought there was more damage even downtown. Not that there isn't. I mean, obviously, once I took a right, went down to the river, I saw the River Arts District um, decimated, a lot of damage, definitely a lot of damage. But shops are open. The art studios are open. There's a coffee shop that I saw that was open, um, and things seem to be returning back to normal. Obviously, it's not still normal with that kind of damage along the river, all along the river. I think honestly, I didn't have a chance to follow the river to the outskirts of town. I think as you get out of the city where there's less people, I think there's less resources and there's still more damage, more recovery work. That's what I got out of this drive. I had to, as you can see at the end of the video, really, I had to go back up to my old stomping grounds, the Burnsville area, as you drive toward Lost Cove, places I've gone hiking, and I just remembered the last time we went there, and I saw that river, how much the place had changed. It was just, it hit me so hard, and after seeing Asheville, after seeing the amount of recovery work, this was maybe a week later, a couple weeks later, so I had to drive back up to that location. It took me like an hour to get up there, and not a whole lot of improvement. There's still huge piles, huge destruction. One road is still in the middle of being reconstructed as you turn left away from Lost Cove. On the right, there's a new bridge they just put in, which closed that road and allowed you to go from that Lost Cove area, Burnsville, along the mountain over to Irwin, which is really nice because that's how we usually got there. So, but it's slow. The roads are still, there's still edges of the road, like big chunks of the road missing with cones around it. It's just shocking to me how much slower the mountain recovery is going. The recovery for people who live up in the mountains. That was the biggest thing that struck me today. The difference in speed of recovery, the what seems to be available resources, and it could just be that there's again more people in Asheville, more resources because there's more people. You have more neighbors, more people able to help, more people able to volunteer. Easier to get to maybe for the recovery supplies. So maybe that's like the epicenter of recovery, and hopefully that'll spread outward. I do know the governor of North Carolina and the mayor of Asheville went to Washington this past week to ask for more federal assistance. So I'm really hoping and praying that the people up in the mountains who are still suffering, especially as the weather gets cold right now, they need heaters. That's what we're hearing. They need, according to the Red Cross volunteer I talked to today, there are communities that need basic supplies. We had heard in Pensacola that they didn't, but as Jeff pointed out, that community didn't was older. It was an older demographic, so they didn't have as many children. I think communities with more kids, more families, definitely are still in need of some of the basic resources and supplies. The I saw today a video. The mayor of Asheville officials said that on their website they say they don't need more supplies donated. So there's mixed messages. I don't know if they actually need more donations. I do know almost every community needs construction equipment, heavy machinery to help with land recovery, chainsaws, just a lot of that kind of heavy work that goes into repairing, rebuilding private properties up in the mountains. I when we go up into the mountains, some areas look like nothing's been done. We saw one road actually closer to the Elizabethton side of, as you go along the Elk River. I was going up a mountain road up there just last week, and there's still like electrical lines being held up by literally a branch, like a piece of tree holding up the line. And it looked like utility workers hadn't even gotten to that point yet. So I think the recovery is a lot slower in the mountains. I think there's still major need based on what we've seen in our videos you've seen. You can see the difference. You can see the amount of people still really further back in the recovery process. I think they really need help. They really need support. So we're going to focus our attention, our time in the mountains. We're going to go up to these mountain communities, find the recovery centers, link up with them, volunteer, with folks like Camp Miller, if they need volunteers to do just basic, land cleaning, tree removal, debris removal, rebuilding, all that kind of stuff. I think we're going to focus on trying to do that, as well as the work we're doing with some search crews, looking for the missing when we can. We've got Vern also contributing a lot of his resources and time and equipment. Like I said, we've got some other folks coming in potentially to help too in some of the water searches. So we're going to do what we can. But again, the difference to me in speed of recovery, it's significant. I think Asheville is, thank God, doing a lot better. A lot of really good recovery work there, a lot of really good cleanup. But I would say anyone who's seeing the recovery work in Asheville, don't let it fool you. The mountains are further behind. The people in the mountains are really further behind and really need a lot of work, a lot of resources, and a lot of help. So I think that's the message of this video. Let's please keep praying and assisting the people in the mountains who are really having a tough time right now. So anyway, I'd like to thank you all for watching this video. Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll see you next time.